Hello and welcome to another live stream where today I have a confession to make. Me, that has always been the pencil girl, that has always been the intricate Johanna Basford level colouring, maybe slightly getting hooked on cozy colouring and bold and easy and bringing out the markers, and I am actually really loving on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts, starting to find all these people that are showing me and showing the rest of us that actually even this simple colouring can be made into something really amazing, and it really is like a blank canvas. So
Do I need to cut the stream?
I'm in a conversion period. I am not going all bold and easy. I will say that up front.
All of our team are running around panicking.
This was a confession that I'm confessing to the team at the same time right now. No, I am still the intricate, I love the pencils, I love the detail kind of person. But I am wanting to, for a little bit, explore some of the other colouring that especially has been really trending right now. And one thing I have noticed in this process is there are a lot of trends, like colouring trends. And that's something that we haven't come across, even though adult colouring has had a few big sort of like peaks of interest and stuff, is that there are now all these tutorials online to like achieve specific effects. And I love that. I love that they're like taking things out of the ordinary a bit. You know what I should grab? Oh, Holly, I wonder if you can find it for me. In our other office, there is a box of a lot of the art that I've done over time, all my finished pieces. And in that, there is actually some examples of 2 different colouring pages that I coloured many times in different trends. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Cool, she's on it. Because this is actually something I tried doing on my main channel here, not in a live stream, but in a main video, a few times either last year or the year before. I tried this concept of, let's take a page and let's work out how to colour it differently. Now, at that time, it wasn't like a trending thing to do that. And now a lot of people are starting to do that. So from one perspective, I want to actually revisit those pages, which I haven't looked at since that video, and see if there's any of those that maybe we should try and like bring into the new bold and easy trend space. But I also kind of just want to try all the trends. And so today I have a trend picked out, and unlike most of our videos where I'm kind of winging it and figuring it as I go, today I've done a little test page so that if you like it, you can kind of colour along. You found them. Okay, so before we jump into the video, here's what I've done previously. So good job on grabbing those quickly. There's probably more. But the first one I did was, or this might have been the second one, I had, actually, yeah, she's going to look for more because we'll come back to Woody in a minute. But this other one is actually a page from one of Hannah Carlson's books. And now this is more of the detailed style colouring. But the first one I coloured here with coloured pencils. So this is more traditional as to what you would do in an adult colouring book. But then I tried these other ones as well. So this is my pop art page. And actually I love this. So to achieve this, I thickened a lot of the lines and kind of like made it more like an ink piece. So I actually went over every line on the page with black, but then also thickened some further. And then everything else is just like flat lines. We added this around the outside, which I kind of messed up a bit because I think I just used pencil, but it pulled into the ink, but that's not a big deal. And everything else is just like blocks of color. So I really like how that one came out. This other one is a watercolor. That's a completely separate thing, but that's okay. And then this one is probably my favorite that I really want to try again. This is a pixel art, but I've seen pixel art trending in Bold and Easy, but it's approached quite differently. The purpose of this one was to make the colouring page feel like it was made out of pixels, whereas a lot of the trends I see are like colouring in pixels but keeping the line work, whereas this was almost like if you actually took this image and pixelized it, so it ends up a bit imperfect. But it's a really cool technique, so I might actually try and even do this one in a Bold and Easy at some point in the future to show you how you could do this again. So that's one I did quite a while ago. I can hear Holly frantically searching for others. Oh, yep, you found more. Cool. There is also a video on my main channel where you can see the actual thought process behind each of these. But here are some others. So this one, I coloured with words. And my rule was I coloured each area with words of that thing. So the scarf is all different languages that say scarf. And the hair is all different languages that say hair. Now, if I was to do this again, I'd probably vary up different pens and different thicknesses. And I think this would work much better on a Bold and Easy page than on something this detailed. Because ideally I wanted the words, almost like when you see typewriter art and it's like the words kind of change the thickness. So maybe you could overlap them. I don't know, there's like a bunch of different ways you could do this, but I do think it's a really cool effect and I'd love to try that again. This one was just ballpoint pen. That was the rule. Color it with a ballpoint pen. There are a lot of people that do far more intricate stuff with ballpoint pens and I'm very inspired.
I really like that one.
Yeah? So we should add that to our trends to try list of things that we can try again. And then this one is a sketch. So it's like take the coloring page and reverse engineer it to add all the thought lines, and even like I use the blue because a lot of artists like sketch with a different color and then come over and like just notes that an artist might make. So kind of like fake reverse engineered it. Just a sketchy style. And I think that would be really interesting to try and translate into some of these books. So there's a few. I then did the same thing with another coloring page. Now, both of these videos are on my channel. You might have to go back a year to find them, but I think they were called I Colored the Same Page 7 Ways or something like that. We might rename them so they're easier to find. This is Woody. So let me just put all these out at once because they're so small, because they were more detailed pictures, doing them smaller was just a bit easier to do them all sort of at once. So these are my Woody pages. So we've got the wanted poster, which is kind of like well, it's not really wanted poster as much as like a sepia, but I love this because it has that old burnt feel even along the edges, but I didn't actually burn it. This was mostly done with like distress inks, and I think that would be a really cool one to try again.
Did you ever in primary school make
like a treasure map?
Well, we made our like own wanted poster, and you'd like rub the page in the dirt, and then you put it over like a candle to kind of like burn it a little bit.
Tea bags, stain it with tea bags.
Yeah.
I was thinking about all those methods with this, but actually this wasn't stained with tea bags. This was done just with like inks. And I really like how it came out. So that one's cool. The pixel art I had to try again. I thought that was such a fun technique. And this time, so last time when I did the pixel art, I worked on the coloring page. And so I had to like white over some of this. This would be a lot easier with paint pens. When I did this, I didn't have paint pens. So you can still see the lines through some of the areas. Whereas this time I traced it onto a new page, so I was able to get rid of all the lines completely. So the end result's a little bit better. This one's markers and pencils, so that's a bit more my usual style. This one's watercolor. I'm loving watercolor, but I'm still fairly like inexperienced with it. But I love how like it does force you to kind of let go a little bit. So good challenge. This one is Bauhaus. So this was a bit, I don't know that I like the end result of this one, but it was a fun challenge. It's a particular style portrait that was in the Bauhaus era, where the actual portraits they did of people always had these like weird shading and that to them. Like if you actually look up Bauhaus portraits, you'll see where that comes from. I think if I was to do this in a coloring page, I'd probably stick more, like the core things about Bauhaus was big solid lines and big just plain colors, and it was only really 3 or 4 colors they used back then. So that'd be cool to try again. This one was film noir, or just noir, where the whole thing's black. Again, this would probably be much better with paint pens. I don't know what I used to do the black. I think it was mostly pencil, but you can actually still see the line slightly. Whereas if you did it with paint pens, you would essentially eliminate it completely. So that could be a cool one to try again. And this is my cyberpunk, where I actually tried to put some glasses on him as well, the what do you call them, VR headset.
Apple Vision Pro. Hashtag not sponsored, but wouldn't mind being sponsored. And again,
this was back before like paint pens and that were really good options, so I was kind of working with different mediums trying to work out what to cover up, like experimenting, figuring it out. So these are all kind of like my coloring trends, I guess, all inspired by different things. There's more detail in those videos. I might try some of these again with the whole new style and everything. So you might see reappearances of a few, but I also really want to try a lot of these new trends that other people are doing. So today's tutorial, we're going to call it a tutorial today. We don't often do tutorials. We're going to call it a tutorial because I have actually tested the theory, tested the method. Hang on, I've got a pile of books here.
Before then,
yeah,
we actually have a lot of members in the chat today.
Hello everyone. Sorry, my
chat's
chat's
new
like
ones
off.
along the way. So
I'm just like ready to go with this project and haven't even said hello to everyone. Sorry, I jumped straight in. Hi everyone. Hi Caitlin. What, I keep saying we. Yeah, we should get Shane to do one of these trends. Hi Em. Hi Dorothy. Hi, Loz. Good to have everyone join us live when we can. Hi, Laura. Oh, so many members. Laura's a new member as well. Welcome to our membership.
Caitlin said, don't forget to sip some coffee before it gets cold.
Thank
it's
you,
actually
Caitlin.
quite hot in here, even for me. And I'm not under
I'm
lights
probably
or
end
anything.
up reverting to my water more. With our whole new restructure of our studio, we've ended up with a lot more heat here. So the last video, there were so many shots. I was like, oh, I can see me sweating. So if I start like sweating, it's the lights. Okay, one last thing before we get into this. Because we do want to keep this stream a little bit shorter than what we've done in the past. I want to just quickly show you some of the other ones I've been doing because I haven't done these in videos. So I think this is the one we did last time. No, this is one I did in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. I decided to do some dopamine coloring. So dopamine coloring for me is less a trend and more an approach to creativity and coloring. So that looks quite different to the other dopamine coloring you've seen. If you want to see, here's another dopamine coloring. These are both very similar palettes. But
I love how a couple of years ago you were like, hated fluoros, and then you've gone to like almost exclusively just using fluoros.
Oh, it's not exclusive. The whole point is it's not exclusive. It's like among the other colors. But yes, I'm loving fluoro. This is one we did in the last live stream. So if you want to go back and watch the replay, that's still available. And that was also where we did this one. So if you want to know more about how I did that, the live stream we just did. Oh, there's even a little... That's from another live stream, I believe, where we actually were approaching what dopamine coloring is. A lot of it is about the colors, I believe. No, not in that book. I have another one of this. Oh, this was another midnight coloring. I decided to challenge myself and just use one pen that not even like one color where you can like shade, but like strictly one flat color as if you were like printing with one color only.
Binary, on or off.
On or off, yeah. And try using different lines and stuff like that to make the different thicknesses. So basically just changing direction. The interesting thing about this was actually the challenge of like not wanting to do the same thing right next to it so that it feels like different colors or different tones. I also probably should have used a thinner pen because I limited myself because it was a thick thing, but I enjoyed it. It was a good, quick challenge. I think that's it that I've got for now to show you, which means it's time to get into our project. So this is Creative Paula's coloring book. Creative Paula has a wonderful channel as well here on YouTube. And this is what I would like us to work on today. It is the stained coloring page. Now, the stained coloring page is something that I've seen a lot of different people on TikTok do. Everyone does it a little bit differently. I actually was trying to find like one person who had a tutorial that I could follow. But I ended up looking at all the different techniques and being like, oh, I like bits of this, but I don't like other bits of it. And so this is kind of a merge. It's become my own version of this technique. It's kind of a merge of a few different ideas, which I'll talk you through as showing here. And then my own, like, how I would make it different. So just to come back to the page here. So what we'll do, we'll actually try this on this one here, because I feel like these panels are so good for like a stained glass thing. And I was going to do a new page, but because I've already started this one now, I think I will just do the next one here. So the core things you're going to need for this style is, first of all, you're going to need some kind of black pen. Now, if you're using alcohol ink like I'm using for all of your coloring, you want your black pen to be a water-based pen. I have learned this the hard way. If you use a Sharpie, it will bleed with alcohol. So alcohol and alcohol are always going to blend, whereas alcohol and water are going to stay separate. So water-based. Now, this is what I've used for these lines here. You can go thinner or you can go thicker. I like to go, from this one time I've tried, my thought is, if we're looking at stained glass, usually they have the borders are slightly thicker, but most of them are still fairly thick. So you might even thicken up the main lines a little bit more, or you could go for a slightly thinner pen if you don't want the separation between the different areas to be as distinct. The other thing I've done here is pick a simple color palette, but rather than trying to match the colors perfectly, I'm kind of just going with vibes in the moment. I'm grabbing all kinds of pens because as much as I want this to be orange, I think it works better with the different oranges. Because the thing about stained glass is that I don't know a lot about the manufacturing process, but one thing I've noticed looking at the other drawings other people are doing versus the photos I've seen of stained glass is that it's imperfect even in this process. So they might be trying to make this one yellow, but they end up with variations in some panels or glitches in some panels. And then some panels are like solid color. Probably all depends on the process they use as well. So what I've actually done here, and I'll show you as we do it, is kind of been quite loose and blotchy with some of them, but tried to sort of pick a bit of a main color for each. And I'm doing that randomly. So out of my big set of markers, I'm literally grabbing anything that vaguely looks orange or yellow, overlapping some. I'm not swatching them out beforehand. I'm just kind of winging it, because then it's more fun sometimes to not have to pick the perfect colors. So my thought is each panel you want to break up. So this actually is, and I probably will thicken some of these lines later so that you can see that definition a bit better. But this is actually a separate cloud here. So I've broken up this cloud into the shapes and then kind of stuck with one color. But if you're wanting to do any kind of gradients, you just kind of change the colors as you get higher. So I started bringing some of these oranges down here. But you don't even have to do that. You could keep them solid chunks. But I do think the slight variant, so there's like, you could do this with 2 or 3 markers, or you can, like me, just keep grabbing markers as you go. And the last thing, so that the blotting and the like dappled sort of difference is something that not many people do with this technique. The other thing that I think is distinct about stained glass that is missed in some of these tutorials is that if you draw the stained glass later, then the colors aren't going to line up perfectly. A lot of people are doing just like a rainbow gradient and then a stained glass over the top. It looks cool, but it's not really true to stained glass because stained glass are panels. So by separating them into the panels and sticking with the colors per panels, it's going to feel more like stained glass. I was a bit torn at the end on whether I wanted to use like a white gel pen, because a lot of people with this style do really heavy highlights on these, really glossy and sparkly and everything like that. Again, that comes down to preference. I tested this with just a little white pencil. The Prismacolor, I've got a luminance here, but the Prismacolor white pencil is usually my go-to, or the luminance. Because you're not doing it on other pencils, because you're doing it on markers, I think most brands would probably work.
I would argue to say that that's probably your favorite white pencil. Because of, well,
I also have like 3 of these because I do use them a lot. I do like the Prismacolor white though. I also have like 3 of them. I just like the white pencils. Both those brands you can get open stock and they're good. But this allowed me to just kind of, within the black, I didn't mean to go over the black like I did here. Within the black, just adding again that little bit more like light coming off it without being like really heavy white highlights. And you can, on some of them, you can go a bit heavier, or even, I don't know how closely we can see. We might even pull the camera closer for this video. Some of the white highlights here, you can put in different areas as well. You can kind of just feel it out, but I like that it's not in your face like what a white pen would be. So if you're wanting to do this, you need a range of colors. It's stained glass, so you can actually be a bit more abstract with it if you want. You don't have to do logical like sky kind of match. Just pick colors that you like. A few sort of like, if you have a red, get like a red and then like a similar red, you know, so something like that. This is where like the Olo ones I find handy because I've matched them all like similar colors for blending. So that becomes my 2 colors. That works out perfect. Some kind of white pencil, some kind of water-based black fine liner. And that's it. And we can go in a coloring page. So we're going to do this. What we might try and do, Shane, is set up this camera a bit closer. I don't know if that's a little bit of like a... he's going to try and do it off camera, but there's not really an off camera when you're just... Oh, he's got a set. He's thought this through. So we have our sneaky side camera angle here so that all the magic can happen off site while Shane adjusts the top camera perfectly. Not so perfectly. Now, I've realised that I've talked for 20 minutes and we were going to keep this stream to an hour, but we will finish this page, finish this bookmark, even if it takes me a bit longer than that. So we will see how we go with that. I was trying to get to the point a lot quicker, but I'm me and we got distracted. So we're going to jump into it. If you are planning on doing it along or colouring along with me, I would love to see your art. If you're one of our members, you can post it in the Discord. If you're not one of our members, you can also join our free Facebook group, and please share your stained glass pages. And at the end of this, because I'm not expecting us to be able to try multiple trends in this video, but I do want to try more. So if you have other ideas for trends that you would like me to try, let me know what they are and we'll have a go. All right, let's jump in. So first thing I'm doing is my lines. So on our page here, which is now zoomed in, look at that magic of production. So here, you can be quite flexible with this. What I would say is you want to do straight lines more than curved lines. Just thinking of how stained glass would mostly be cut, because it would be harder to cut on a machine with curved lines. But you could do just like a random pattern, or you could do like what I've done here, where I'm like, oh, maybe if they were being creative, they might like do them almost like I don't know, what do you call it? A sun pattern, not a sun pattern. What is this? Some kind of, oh, my hand's a bit shaky today.
Sunbeam.
A sunbeam, yeah. So like they might try and do them like that. And then you have the broken bits. And it's up to you how big you want your pieces to be. Like again, I mean, stained glass is an art form of its own. And so some of them would do big sheets like this. Others would do really small sheets. And like a small area is probably going to need to be broken up into more sections than a big area like this. So I like to do some of these a bit crooked because, I don't know, that just seems like a common pattern with stained glass. You could be really neat and have like perfectly lined ones. It's kind of up to you how you want to do that. And again, up to you how many panels you want. So my thing is trying to reduce, if there's curved lines, I'm assuming they probably won't want too many pieces to have curved lines, so I'm more likely to break those up a bit. But I think that works for this section. It's up to you whether you want to do the whole page and then come back or do a section at a time. If you're doing the whole page at once, just make sure that your other lines are thick enough that you can tell where, like we could even thicken them up now, where the different sections break so that you actually remember what to colour in what colour. Because the colours by the end will be the thing that separates each panel. Because otherwise it's just a bunch of lines. It becomes like one of those mystery colouring books with basically colour by number, but it's just a giant big mess of things. So I am going to do this second one as well. The other thing with stained glass is they're not layering objects. So you don't need to like look at this line and try to connect it at the other end, because they wouldn't do that. They would have the pieces cut around this. So you can also kind of cut your pieces around this, because that's practical for stained glass. This is my assumption. I've never done stained glass. I'm making some assumptions here.
There'll be some stained glass person who'll watch this later and be like, I'm unsubscribing.
Well, if anyone here has done stained glass of any kind, let me know. Let me know if this logic holds, because, yeah. All right, I think that's a good amount of panels. And then this section's already kind of got the beam. What I might do is come to this first and then come back to this, because I don't want to forget that these details are here. And we might even like, I don't know, do we do like a rainbow there? I was gonna use the same color palette. Oh, let's just do it. I'm overthinking it. Okay. So if I'm looking at this, and if I wanted to kind of copy this, although maybe we'll do it in reverse. Let's pretend this is the sun. And so if we're using this palette, we'll go sun at the top, we'll go darker at the bottom. So we'll grab our purples. I'm literally just grabbing anything that's like purplish, right? So let's just start with these. I don't know how dark these all are, so we'll just grab a few lighter options, and we're just gonna kind of wing it. So here, what I do is I'm just coloring some, a bit like that, like really rough. And then others, I'll just color in the panel straight away. Others, I'll just let it bleed over the edge. And then what we're gonna do is come back with some other colors, and yeah, this is my process. So now with another color, we might blend in that first. That is the same color, right? No, it is not at all. It feels like the same color. Oh, no, I forgot. Always put a piece of paper under. Where'd my piece of paper go? Rookie mistake already. This isn't the one I had, but. Yes. All right, so this one, let's see what we've got here. Okay, so this one's a bit different. So we can color over, we can blend in, we can just completely erase what we just did. Like, again, there's not really any rules here other than have fun with it. So I might put a bit of that in there and then come back with the other color. Because if you do have any like different colors, you want them to be pretty subtle. You don't want them to be like in your face. These are all very dark. I think I want, I don't know if there's any lighter purples among these we can sort of get. They're all just very similar, which is not a bad thing because even the slight difference between these two colors will help. Can't tell if, did I pick the wrong color there? I don't know. We'll let it soak in and we'll see what it does. The good thing is that the uneven colouring, I think kind of just adds to the effect. So it takes a bit of the pressure off with being perfect. I might need to bring in some pinks to get some lighter colours. Maybe if I bring in a pink and then even overlap it with like a blue. Oh, because see, that's really bright. But we don't need to panic because we can layer colours. So let's just go for it. And then we'll get like a pale blue. See if that, there we go, look at that. And that one's reacting a bit funny, but again, kind of adds to our dappled effect, so that kind of works. Let's make our own purple if we're not happy. So these ones are actually less, like the yellow and the orange I found really easy to find the different colours to kind of mix well. I haven't done as good of a job with this one on that, but you'll see by the end, it won't matter.
So Loz has said in the comments, the one rule I recall was to make sure every edge touches another edge, no floating objects.
Ah, that makes sense. So like this, I mean, this all has touching edges anyway, but like this moon, you would need to connect it to another piece. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to physically build that with stained glass. That
probably just sort of like mix in the colour and just become like weird, wouldn't it? If you tried to.
Because you need, yeah. I mean, well, because you have to basically build a whole frame and then you put the colour in, I believe. So if you didn't, you literally couldn't build the frame because it wouldn't be attached. All right, this pink I think will become good for like hiding some of the dappled bits and some of the other colours that are similar. But I do want something, just grabbing markers. I mean, if you did, oh, see, they're also dark. Where's all my mid purples? Where are you? There we go, that's a bit more of a mid purple. That particular one we might need to darken up because it's got a lot of different things going on, a bit too much. Maybe we can pull in, I wonder if that blue, sometimes just a lighter colour can help to pull the other colours into each other a bit more. Layers. But it's good. It's a good chance to experiment and see how the colours kind of interact with each other as well. Like the light colours are adding just subtle differences on the darker colours.
So we have something that I've actually never seen before on a live. Where somebody has gifted a membership to somebody else.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that either, but my understanding is that that means we have a new member.
Yes. So I got to press the new member button.
Hey! Now, someone tell me, is that picked at random? I don't know how that works, but cool. Thank you, Darth Patty, for that. That's amazing.
What if you don't want to be a member and somebody gifts it? It's just like,
bad luck.
You've
been brought in the club and you cannot escape.
You can check in, but you can never leave.
All right, come have a look at where we're up to. So this, as you can see, a lot of that I was winging it, but actually at the end result, we've got what looks like the kind of different glitches and sort of, except for this bit, that's a bit too distinct. You've kind of got a lot of the effects here that you would expect to see on a stained glass panel with all the different sort of adjustments and everything. You know what? I'm just going to colour that one in. So the slight sort of like imperfections in the different colours, I think works. You might disagree. You can colour them straight colours if you prefer, but I like it. And so now we've kind of done that first panel already, and so now we move up to the next panel. And for this one, we're going to go more of these sort of pinky orangey colours, I think, because I want to save my my orangey yellow colours for this top area. So for this middle one, we might pull in a little bit of the purple and overlap it and start going into some pinks and some reds, I think is what I'm thinking.
So while you do that, a couple of comments. Caitlin has just remembered that she actually has a stained glass colouring book and knows what she's doing after work tonight. Darth Paddy, who gifted the membership, said it's random to someone who's never been gifted. Right. And Sarah has said the sky would need to be split in order to solder the moon and star into place.
Yes. Exactly that. But that's all right, because we would be splitting it anyway, because it looks cool. And looking cool is enough reason for me. Now, does anyone have any questions about this technique, or is this all making sense so far? I hope it's making sense. Kind of mixing brands here, but why not, huh? I think alcohol markers is kind of the perfect thing for this. Like you could do some of this with like pencils and stuff, but because of the alcohol, the way it blends, I think it ends up looking more like what we're going for. This is a little more pink than I thought. I should bring in some sort of orangey colours. Maybe ease off my pink a little bit. Or blend it into the pink.
So a couple of comments and questions. In Happiness and Distress said, my physical colour cubes, all 4 came today with FedEx. Wow, love them, so inspired from Stockholm. And one of our members, Nintendo Gamer Gal, what is the colouring book title? And love what you've done so far. Now, I'd love to know from Nintendo Gamer Gal what her favourite Nintendo game is. Because we're big Nintendo fans here.
So the book, this is Creative Paula's It's the Little Things colouring book. And
Loz has said the bookmark is perfect a week before Easter.
Yeah, I didn't pick this because it was an Easter page, but yeah, perfect timing. I picked it because when I was trying to find one to demo it on, I was like, oh, this one has good division for me to work out if this works. And then once I kind of started that and I asked everyone here and everyone's like, actually, this is a great spread to do stained glass, so we should just keep doing it. So, okay, so we've got our second sort of base working. Even without the white, it's already looking like stained glass. The white, I mean, you can, so the only difference between this and this is the white pencil at the end. So you can already see that it's not a hard technique. And I don't think it takes that long either. Like, it has been pretty quick so far. We've done this in what, 15 minutes? Oh, no, hang on. Before I start colouring the next section, let's thicken up these lines. So again, I think just thickening these up just means there's a bit more separation, whereas otherwise they do have a risk of getting lost with all the new lines we're adding. So I do like the idea of just thickening them up a little bit. You don't have to. And some books, they'll be thicker. These, like the outside lines are quite thick, but the inside lines, it's a smaller pen. You might also just choose to do your lines smaller, and that would also work as well. Like, you don't have to worry too much about the size for stuff like that. But if you are curious, this is a hoo-hoo size 1. if you want to reference that. All right, just think we get these extra lines in now. Now, what is not going to work for stained glass, but we're just going to leave it, is things like the faces. In this one, I just put it on its own panel because I think, I don't know, how would you do that? I guess what we could do is thicken it up and just add some little connect lines so that it could technically exist. It just becomes very fine detail. So maybe what we'll do, let's try this together. First of all, I'm going to thicken these up a little bit. Let's just add like a little line as if it was like, this might be a bad idea, but we'll see. And then what I might do is actually get a thinner one for this section so that it stands out from the background, our bunny here. So I do have what I have here, I don't have the other Ohuhu ones, but I do have this Copic multi-liner. This one is a 0.3. I don't even know where I got these from. I think this was actually from my mum's collection. This one's quite fine. So this will allow us to sort of connect. Like we said, you can't have floating pieces. This one's quite fine, but it'll allow us to kind of design those extra lines without it being as heavy as the past section. So I'm also aware that we need to kind of connect these. I don't know, like you might just not. With this one, I kind of just did a few lines. The overthinker in me is always going to overthink something like this. I probably should have gone a little bit of a thicker line than this tiny line, but we'll see how it looks. You can always thicken the line up later if we think it doesn't work. I feel like this would need to be split because it's a big, difficult curve to cut out of stuff. I don't know, is stained glass like you do the frame and then you stain the sections, or is it that you cut out? No, because that would be a mosaic, right? If you were to cut out the pieces, that's now a mosaic, not stained glass. I'm assuming stained glass is like you do the frame on the glass and then you stain the panels, and the black is what stops it spilling, which actually leans into more of why it would end up with the dappled kind of finish. Again, just making assumptions. Someone in the comments can give the actual truth. Oh, actually that makes it look like it's crying. Sorry.
Brandy Brooks says, less is actually more. And then Loz also says, I think you make frame and melt glass in.
That would make sense. So that, we could probably leave the interior like that, I think. And then I'll just split up the ears a little bit.
River Otters says that stained glass is a mosaic of cut-coloured glass pieces with lead between.
Okay. I wonder if there are a few different approaches to it. And that, because not all stained glass looks the same either. Where did I put my other marker? Not this, oh, it's right here in front of me. Okay, so these big areas here, I think I'm just going to, oh, okay. Do I split them in half? No. I think we just kind of almost, not quite zigzag, but just break them up, I think, a little bit.
Caitlin says that stained glass is a similar process to mosaic. Cut the glass pieces, then solder the frame in.
Yeah, okay. So if it's cut glass, then it makes more sense that bits like this curve would be really hard to do in one piece. I mean, I don't think the colouring page has to be a perfect match for how stained glass would actually piece together, but you know. Do it however you feel. There we go, it's a bit fun. All right, I think we have our panels worked out, our stained glass. Whoops, what is under my desk? Random stuff. My giant sharpener bin that just got kicked. All right, so what we're going to do.
Loz has asked, when is Sarah doing a stained glass deep dive?
Oh, I feel like I would just get cut doing stained glass, mosaic type stuff. Feels like a dangerous thing for me to draw. Plus, there are so many things on my list that I haven't done yet that I would like to do first. You know, I just realized, okay, I need to pause because I want to make sure that this is a bit more like orange yellow. So I just need to keep that in mind because I've already just like colored all of them a little bit. So I'm going to just slow down a bit on this and do the orange panels first and then come back and do the yellow panels.
Michael Morgan has asked what time it is for us. It's 10:44 a.m. as proof that this is actually live streamed.
That's basically the same color. Let's go with that one. I think I want to go a bit lighter orange, maybe even. See, oh, that was not an orange. Well, well, it's in there now. I'm sure stained glass doesn't always work out exactly how you expect, so, you know, just leaning into that. Maybe I'll just change that one a little bit more orange. Oh, these are all such dark oranges. I don't know why I was expecting to find something lighter. I mean, I guess lighter it starts just going to yellow, but like, where's those like maybe, I mean, I don't have my whole collection of markers here. Half of it's up behind me, so I probably just left the wrong colours behind. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for more yellowy oranges overall. Very orange, like very red orange. Oh, that's way too dark.
What markers are you using today?
I'm using a mix actually. I've got Ohuhu markers here and I've got Olo markers here. They're just alcohol markers. So you could do this with any brand alcohol markers. They don't even have to be ones that are good at blending for something like this. Normally, like these are my two favorite brands, but you could actually do this with even like the cheapest brands. And I'm not testing or swatching these colors out, which does mean there's a few sort of unexpected, but I figure like when you're doing stained glass as well, like you're not always going to have all the perfect colors available. But in saying that, where is my bright yellows? I've probably got them somewhere else for like some other project that I've done. So I'm just like that like feels like almost a green yellow. Like where's my yellows? They're just not here. Let me just scoot over here. There's a few, maybe lemon yellow, melon yellow. Let's see if these might have more luck. That's not a lemon yellow. That's all right. This is, I guess, where, like, if you really want the real popping color yellow, that's where paint markers come in handy, you know? Like that melon yellow is like back to the sort of almost brown again. Like it's not, they're not really yellow. That's okay. It still kind of works. Is this, now I do want to kind of swatch this now because I'm a bit worried it's going to be, no, that's the bright one. Okay, cool. If I can tone down the bright one with some of these other ones, then it's not so bad. Maybe I'll just use that, the bright one for the rest of this. Actually, if you do the bright layer first, and while it's wet, put down the other colour, then the other colour doesn't soak in as much. So that's sort of helps. I've just mixed up my lids. I kind of want just, oh, how dark's that going to be? That's too dark. I just want a little bit of a slightly darker one on that one. Here. There we go. Fix that one up a bit. Cool. Well, there's all our background. Now we just need to do our egg bunny. Is that what it is? We've kind of used all the colors here. So with this one, I did it with like a pink. Could probably do similar. Like it's almost leaning into this sort of pale color, but I did bring the pink in. We'll just see what we've got here. And I think this might be a lot darker than I think though. Some of these, the BR3 rose beige. Yeah, that's more brown than I was thinking, but that's okay. So these are the pastel pinks. Maybe I should have swatched these first. Yeah, because that's not pastel. At least you can layer alcohol inks pretty easily.
I've seen a really cool thing you can get for like swatching colours of your art supplies onto to make sure that they're the colour they say they are.
What's that called?
I don't know.
Actually, what's that called? Shane trying to secretly plug our products, but then doesn't even actually mention the name of the product.
It's called a swatch deck, Sarah.
Oh, I need a fan. It's getting really hot here. Sweaty. Can't actually turn it on. It's too noisy. Too noisy.
Yep, that's alright.
Holly's trying to help.
How about if I like get a big
You come just fan me?
Yeah.
Try this.
I'll really do it. You know I will.
Actually pretty effective. But no one can see you. That's not fun.
I will do it.
This is Holly, everyone. Can't see her.
Hi, wherever the camera is, I don't know.
There.
Hello.
Holly's a
stand
big
here.
fan.
I'm a huge
Didn't.
fan.
My biggest fan.
Definitely. Or maybe
It does
after
help, but I'm not
Shane.
actually going to make you do that.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's appreciated. All right, let's just get some final color down so that I can show you the pencil. Okay, whoops, what did I just do? Giant spot. It was a beauty spot, but we don't need a beauty spot. What color should we do the little ring? Maybe I'll go back to the purples for that, just because why not? Okay. We have a lot of markers on the table, some of them with their lids not on. I usually do that. A lot of markers on the table. We have a bookmark done.
We have a new member. That's what we also have.
Because I'm really bad at my comments today. I have my laptop right here and it keeps turning the screen off because I'm not paying much attention because Shane is. Welcome Samantha. Welcome to Silver. Later after this, make sure you jump in our Discord, and because after this we're also going to be doing a members only live stream where you know what I'm doing today? I was going to do something completely different. For our members, you're going to help me pull apart some books. Totally random, but something top secret project. So that's for that. For everyone here who's not a member, I know that when you go to like our video tab, it looks like we have like a lot of stuff behind the paywall for members. We try and do a lot here publicly as well. So I'm sorry that some people feel like they might be missing out. We really just want to give our members a little something extra. But we do try and, like, anything that we do with the members always is for like a main video. So you will eventually see what the secret project is. Members just get a bit of an early look and sometimes a bit more of that behind the scenes kind of approach to it. But for today, let's get this pencil in. So I'm using just a white pencil. You could, again, if you want to really like make this stand out, do it with like a paint pen or a gel pen or something like that. I like the white pencil because it's subtle. Now the key here is, I mean, you can kind of do this as many ways as you want. The way I've done it on this example here is that I picked a side. I picked one side, and on every piece I roughly like looked at where that side was, and I only did the white pencil on that side as if the sun's kind of bouncing from a certain direction. So rather, and I was testing here doing it with pens and that as well. So this was my test page. But here I've just kind of, in this case, gone along this bottom edge of all of these. And when I've got up here, I've kind of, again, just kind of worked along those bottom edges. I haven't done it as heavy on the top ones as I have on the bottom because these are darker colors, so it's a bit more standing out. You could potentially try doing this with like, what do you call the clear marker? The zero marker? The colorless blender. Could just lighten these colors. It's just with paper like this that isn't marker paper, you probably want to test it first to see if it would work. So I'm just going to do the same here. Because these are on the same page, I'll follow the same direction. And I'm literally just going to, on the inside of the black, just lightly draw a line along the edges. And I'm just going to do that on the whole thing. The other thing I did over here that you could add if you wanted or not is actually just adding some like light glares on some of the panes. which again, I'm trying to just pick the one direction and go with it. That's optional. You might find that that just gets stressful and it's sort of unknown if it's going to look better or worse. So if you want just a simple starting place, just this works. And if you do find you're going over the black line, I wouldn't stress too much. You can always come back and just do another layer of the white afterwards. Now, some of these don't have an edge here, so I kind of like either pick the bottom or the side to go with it. So in this case, we can kind of do the side. So it's as if picture our light source coming from like up here. So it's only going to hit, or actually would it work the opposite? I don't know. Just pick a side.
Getting a lot of recommendations for NerdForge and Evan and Caitlin for stained glass videos.
For learning stained glass. If anyone would do a good job, I can imagine that they would be the people to follow. Martina definitely seems like the kind of person, NerdForge, that would do amazing stained glass. I didn't know that Evan and Caitlin had done some. Big fan of both channels, so I would take those recommendations. Evan and Caitlin actually helped me with my first ever resin project. The thing I like about the pencil is you can make it as strong or as subtle as you want. And you could even, with some of them, like pull it out to the color a bit more. Whereas I feel like any kind of pen is so permanent and just so like 1 to 100 really quickly, 0 to 100. Whereas this, there's a bit more chance to kind of build it up. I am being a little bit sloppy. I'm going on the black a lot more. I know that's because I'm always very aware of trying to give you a final piece in a video. So if you did this a bit slower, it'd be neater than mine. I'm going to do it on our bunny egg as well. You could, if you did want to do like on the other sides, you could do like lighter pressure on the other sides, or pencil on one side and the marker on another, or something like that.
River Otters says that they loved your first resin video and it turned out fantastic.
Thank you. It's probably one of the most different types of art that I've done compared to most of the stuff I do on this channel. So I'm going to press a bit lighter on these darker panels because I think it wouldn't be as strong on these. You might even, like if you really wanted to, get like a lighter colour, like a light purple, and do these ones with a light purple or something instead of the white. But I think if you just use light pressure, works fine. For an easy technique. It looks a lot more complicated by the end than it is. And if you've watched this from the start, I think you'll see what I mean. Like it's an easier technique than it looks like it should be for the end result. Oh yeah, so I probably should do along this edge as well. Just pick an edge out of the four. So we'll do along this edge because this is part of the stained glass. Cool. So what I probably will do, and I'll try and do a little bit now while we maybe bring some more questions, is just tidy up some of this black where I went over it because I was rushing. Just to make sure we don't have the white on the black.
If you were told you could never make art again after today, what would you create now?
Oh, See, the problem with a question like that is that I'm the kind of person that would panic so much about the choice being so final and so important that I would do nothing.
Sarah would spend the rest of the day thinking about what art piece to make.
Exactly. I'd be so like trying to decide on the perfect art piece that I would just find myself doing nothing and wasting that time.
Maybe it could be an art piece that is made up of the names of every kind of art form there is. Or as just a list of the art forms.
A mixed media piece that just is every art form. The problem is that, like, for me, it's less about, like, what art forms do I love the most and more about what art form do I like this week. Like, my interests change because, like, I'm never an artist that could do a series that I do for, like, 2 years or something of, like, one particular piece that, you know, you have a gallery and all that, because I constantly want to do different things and I want to do new things. But on that note, we're done. This is our stained glass window effect. I think it's pretty effective. If I'll show you just quickly, if you do want to add some of those little extra things, and I would just be careful not to overdo them. But you basically just want to add some extra little subtle lines, and they can be in the middle of the panels or on the edge, and just spread them around. Make sure they're fairly light, just to add a little bit of something extra if you want. Yeah, that's the technique. That's it. Sarah's stained window effect, I guess we call it, because it is. I'm not the first person to do stained windows, that's for sure. But this has kind of become my take on it. So that is our stained glass window. Which, you know what's crazy is that even with all of my distracted discussion and everything, we got this done in an hour. I'm just trying to think, like, I kind of want to.
You're going to start another one.
I know, you know I want to, but I shouldn't. What I was going to say is if you want a different take on this, so I actually did have another page in case I had time. We never have time for more than one thing in an hour. Like, that's, and the 2 hour, I mean, I'm here sweating already from just the extra lighting, so I don't think I could sit here for 2 hours if I tried. I also was thinking about trying this effect on this page from my book, which is not a bold and easy, and so you would need to cover up the lines as well, but I think this could be a really cool stained glass effect. And you've got a natural frame here. So I have this already set aside, and what I thought with this one, I would maybe do, and we'll see, I might keep this in mind and pick another day to try it. Rather than doing all the outlines in black, I thought, what if instead you lean into like a gold or a brass or something like that, that would be like a completely different type of, I don't even know what you call that art, where it's like the metal on it instead of like just black. And so it's I don't know, it's a different kind of project. So I actually want to try that. When I was looking at the colors, it was this color in the middle here, the goldenrod, that actually made me think, oh, I wonder if you actually framed it in like a gold metal rather than the black, how different that would look for what is essentially the same effect. So I might see how I go, might try it, but I would love to see you try this. I'll at some time finish this other one. I always say that, but this is quick, so I should be able to finish this one fairly quickly. And maybe I can do the middle one just for the sake of finishing the page. That's probably a good idea at some point. I am planning a main video coming up. It's probably a while away, where I want to showcase a lot of the different new coloring trends. I believe recently, actually, a few other of my friends have done very similar videos because coloring is really big right now. So if you want something to watch with some more ideas while you're waiting, Temi Danzo Art, I believe she's just posted a video about trying different coloring trends. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw her thumbnail and it looks like it's very similar, kind of doing some of these bold and easy. And Kira from A Pictured Purpose has also recently done trying different coloring trends on her channel. So those are two channels I highly recommend that you go check out, because I'm sure they have done some really amazing stuff as well. And please let me know in the comments of this after it goes out of the live comments. Come back in the video and let me know if you have any other ideas of trends that you would like to see me try, because we'll either do them in a live stream like this, or I might include them in my big main video when I try and just try all the techniques, because it'll be a lot of fun. It's not in the next video coming out. We have a special surprise coming out, which I'll be talking to the members about soon. When are we jumping back on with members, Shane?
Well, normally we do that at an hour afterwards, but we've finished
because we're finishing
different
early.
Times. So do you want to do this in an hour and 2 hours?
Why don't we split the difference? Because then we can squeeze in a bit of lunch before we go. So an hour and a half from now, we will jump on with the members, because I know the time zones are a little bit weird for everyone. So I don't want to make it too late. But that means, yeah, members, an hour and a half, we're going to jump back on and I'll show you some fun stuff. And if we get time, maybe we'll even finish this. We might not though. Probably won't. We've got other things. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this was helpful. I hope to see you try it, and have a great week. Bye.